All right, I call this one Twitter is a machine for zeitgeist production featuring Sid Steierhardt. This is News from 5D. I'm Otis 5D.
News from 5D with Otis 5D.
All right, Sid Steierhardt starting to be a real, legend here on News from 5D. Many videos are based on Sid's tweets. So Sid says X, as he calls it, Twitter as I call it, is a machine for zeitgeist production. Just in case, I'm sure there's got to be somebody who will watch this who doesn't know what the zeitgeist is. The zeitgeist is like the spirit of the times. So the idea is that Twitter is a machine that produces the spirit of the times. That's why I'm so obsessed with this thing. I feel like I'm looking into the zeitgeist and I can be a part of the production of the zeitgeist. The best example of this, I think, in my personal opinion, is Mike Benz. You know, Mike Benz could be a plant. If I had to vote, I would vote that he's not a plant because I can see his history, and I don't know. I just think the idea of plants is a bit, maybe I'm naive, but I think it's a bit overblown. But he could be. But if he's not, he is a guy who's like me or you or anybody else doing all this research, tabulating it, putting it into a digestible form, putting it out on Twitter, both in text and image and video format. And then some of the things he finds get picked up and become part of the zeitgeist, either directly through his production or through a retweet by Elon or him appearing on Tucker or Rogan or PBD or, something of that nature. So it's like this giant machine that we're a part of. And I feel like in the future, there will be something like Twitter studies or X studies, like a department, like an anthropological department, because it's incredible. And it's it can be, with the API, it can be comparatively data driven to other forms of, anthropological research. And the coolest part of this to me is that you can go from an observer to a participant. Like, that's what I have chosen to do, and at this point I'm like a minuscule participant at best, but that doesn't have to always remain the case. If I persevere and if I catch some lucky breaks, I can all of a sudden become like a participant in the production of the zeitgeist of humanity. And I don't think that there is a higher leverage activity than that, which is, again, that's the whole reason that I'm obsessed with this. I've shared this with some very smart people over the past few years, and most of them haven't gotten it. When I've just been like, dude, Twitter is the highest leverage thing in the world, they're like, engineering, bro? And I'm just like, oh, like, whoa, like we're in like totally different worlds. So anyway, Sid says X is a machine for zeitgeist production. It locks onto the feedback loops of the collective unconscious and amplifies the loudest signals. This is, interestingly, this sounds a lot like Cliff High. Cliff High he's a very interesting guy, CLIF space HIGH. Follow him. He's very unhinged. He's like triple OG unhinged. And one of the things he did is he created something called that he calls, at least, a web bot, which scrapes. It's like a sentiment analysis thing that he's been running for, I think, more than 20 years. And it's very similar. Like, you're trying to pick up like what is on the tip of humanity's tongue, and if you can front run that has value in terms of cachet, that has value in terms of investing, like finding trend, like the trend spotting, that's what that's called. And also, increasingly, with the emergence of prediction markets like Polymarket, it has like investing utility as well. So it locks onto the feedback loops of the collective unconscious and amplifies the loudest signals regardless of their truth or value. until they become the reified artifacts of the present moment we experience. Regardless of their, yeah, I guess there's truth to that. Regardless of their truth or value. I haven't thought much about that, actually. How true is that? I don't know. I don't know if regardless is the right word for that, especially with with community notes, because community notes, I feel like bends the signal slightly in the direction of truth / accuracy, to some extent, at least. I get it. And, I do think that is a very cool part of human civilization, is that weird, like, Huck to a Girl is a perfect example. Huck to a Girl, the rise and fall of Huck to a Girl from, some random cute girl talking about sloppy blowjobs to a kind of like meme coin scammer who's now, going to get indicted. So, value that maybe not so much, but I think that's cool. It's like our water cooler. As Elon says, it's like the group chat of the world. But I do think that the community notes feature does tilt the group chat slightly in the direction of truth and accuracy, which I think is really important, actually. I think it's more or less the best that we can hope for. So I guess that's kind of it. More or less, the idea / message of this video is more or less that, like, Twitter is just upstream of everything right now. It's upstream of presidential elections. It's upstream of financial markets. It's upstream of, emerging phenomena like UFOs and paranormal things, as well as, AI and robotics. It's like, it's the thing. And I think that the way that Sid worded it, a machine for zeitgeist production, is just, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to put it. It's a machine that creates the spirit of our time. And it's really been doing that for, 15 years almost. But now it's reached some kind of critical mass where we can step back and see it very clearly. It's not something that's in the shadows anymore. It's like, if you don't see it, you're the retard. Go fuck yourself. Peace.
Otis5D.xyz.
Go fuck yourself.